Hello you as well. I'm still working on my PC stuff, and you can see here the PC, and in fact if I just tilt the camera a little bit over there, you can see there it is in action, doing its stuff. There it is. We just tilt the camera down, the iRog of Doom business. That's there it is. I call it the Cylon there because it looks very Cylon-like, doesn't it? It's pretty cool, has to be said. So that's the Cylon. That's what we're going to use for our PC gaming in the coming weeks. Firstly, I'm just trying to get the wheels working and the drivers working and everything else. There's lots to sort out there. G25 always works perfectly, but some of the wheels, such as the CSR Elite, sometimes take a little bit of setting up. I've got it working on Project Cars, but at the moment still working on rfactor to try and work out a bug I've got on rfactor and trying to get it working. But I'll get that going in the coming days. But first, let's just take a quick look then at just a few early laps on Project Cars and some feelings on that as well. Okay, viewers, so here we are. I'm getting into my seat now. Unfortunately, the path between my gaming PC and actually getting into the rig is a bit of an obstacle course at the moment, so I'll be arranging a new setup for next year. So here we are then. This is my first race on trying out a race on Project Cars then. I did some test laps just to get a feel for the car, learn some of the braking points, and now I've gone into a race and I've recorded this straight away, see how we get on. So this is about really learning the car, learning some of the handling, and seeing how it's developed. So I wanted to use the same car and course that I was driving a year ago, and that really gives me a good perspective on development, certain aspects that I was getting a feel for in the past. And the first impressions are absolutely excellent. I'll just point out there actually there's a slight mistake there. You're going to see that a couple of times. My firmware that I'm testing at the moment for the Formula Rim is not a final firmware, and so unfortunately what it means is when I hit the accelerator I have no power for the first 20% of acceleration, and then I get 30% acceleration all in one go. So it makes it very difficult for me in slow corners at the moment. But once that's fixed, my lap times should drop considerably because it will really help me in those slow corners and just finding the absolute balance. And that's what I'm really liking about this new handling. The car is sliding nicely around these slower corners, and once you've tuned your controls properly, you can really find that limit of performance and that power you want to put through the wheels to keep the car sliding just at that point whereby it retains the necessary grip to exit the corner. And corners like this are going to be really nice. I mean, I've already had a little test, and when you get them nice and sweet, you're ice skating through those corners, and it's great. It's really developed. So on the whole, I see Project Cars, people attacking the physics and all that. It depends on the car you're driving, like any game. I think there's always lots of work to be done, but the improvements have been night and day better than where they were a year ago, and I thought it was good fun, and I can see, but at the same time I can see the massive improvements that have taken place in the past year, and it just gives you such a positive feeling for the future of these guys, of what they've managed to accomplish as a company, coming back from, if you look at Slightly Mad Studios and knowing that Shift 1 and 2 wasn't the game it was supposed to be. It was the game they were sort of forced into releasing, if you like, rather than the game they wanted it to be. It didn't handle the way they wanted it to handle, even though they had this amazing physics system. The bits put on top just made it not work properly, basically. And so when you've got this development and you're thinking it's not the sum of its parts, it's developing as well, it's disappointing as well for the developer, as well as it doesn't work for the publisher in the end. And I think now they've gone back to basics. This is about cars, it's about racing. There's no gimmicks here. This is about cars that handle well, and some great graphics, some wonderful eye candy along the way. And I think you look at it and you just can't cease to be amazed by how good this really looks. I mean, that helmet cam, absolutely fantastic. I can't drive by the helmet cam, mind you. For me, I think it's again a lovely gimmick. But on the whole, as you can see there, I prefer just a structured cockpit cam. And it's nice because the cockpit cam doesn't have too much wobbling about. I'm somebody who doesn't like too much wobbling from the cam. I don't find it necessarily helps my driving. There's just enough movement there to give me the relevant feedback that I need. And so this gives you an idea. We've got, what do we got here? So we've got the helmet cam in the top middle. We've got the obviously my driving cam there. we've got behind car and the replays. Replays are fantastic in this game. So many games get the replays completely wrong. Project Cars, they're doing a really good job at the moment making it look just right. You know, some of these are the perfect TV camera shots, such as that one. It's great to see going through the chicane. Fantastic to see it all being put in place piece by piece. And there's so much to Project Cars now, you know, there's so many cars in it, so many tracks, night and day, different weather effects and everything else. It's come on leaps and bounds. I can't wait to be showing you more of this sort of thing in the new year. Now, this is being played at maximum visual settings, so this is what you see here, and this is Project Cars all singing, all dancing. Though I have to admit, the Fraps was pushing the PC really hard, so we lose some frames. Well, we don't necessarily lose some frames. I think it sticks a couple of times when recording this. This is of course recording the replay. Running Fraps when you're actually playing can sometimes cause the odd frame rate freeze, if you like, and that can really affect your driving when you're doing these sort of runs, and especially when you're pushing and trying to find a limit of grip and then suddenly the game freezes and suddenly you're spinning out. So main thing about driving like this really is you're trying to find the speed, you're trying to find how fast you can go into corners, but you're also trying to find consistency. It's not just about, and it's about saving the car as well. If you're going to fly off, try to save the car. Never give up. Never give up in motor racing, because you never know what can happen ahead. So I'm trying different techniques. Do I turn in early? Do I turn in late? How to straighten the car up the hill? How quickly I can get on the power, especially with the throttle problems I'm having. So hopefully the new firmware will sort that out, and then I'll be able to show you more of this. Imola is a great course. It's one of my favourite courses, and you know, I've been suffering with this Forza Horizon the last few days, and just putting the video together for that and just thinking it just feels terrible for me. I put this on and it's just night and day better. You can see I can drive this all day. I can put the car where I want to put it within reason, and it just feels great. It feels natural to me. I've played also a bit of rfactor 2. Again, fantastic. Formula 2 cars for me, I feel perfectly at home straight away. I can get in there, do some laps from the off. The 60s cars are going to be a bit more of a challenge. I'm not saying that it's not my style of driving. That's a much more aggressive, rugged, power sliding style, and it just depends on how you like to drive, what kind of car. Some people like to drive cars with enormous rear wheel power. It depends what it is, but I'm always many of you will know I'm an open wheel Formula type guy, and not having had my fix of Formula 1 this year, this will keep me going, no doubt, in the months to come. So this represents just the beginning of my PC coverage. Obviously there's going to be Project Cars. I'm doing a big piece on Auto Club Revolution as well, which is coming along. That game again, it's come along hugely since the early version last year. I mean, they're putting so much work into it, you know, constantly revising the graphics. They've still got to populate it with crowds and give it a load of atmosphere and particle effects and, you know, all those other bits that polish it and make it look absolutely fantastic. But it's great to see how that's developing for the new year, and they've got some really exciting announcements on the way as well in 2013. So 2013, we're talking about Project Cars, we're talking about rfactor 2, but there's actually going to be, you know, Assetto Corsa and Auto Club Revolution joining that party, and so each one's going to offer something slightly different in terms of what they offer the end user, but they should complement each other as well. You know, rfactor will have this incredible handling. Project Cars will be working very hard on community, and Assetto Corsa, well, that's the dark horse really. It just depends on what they can put together, that it works as well as it should. And that's, you know, as I say, though it looks brilliant at the moment, you know, we never know until it gets here. You know, there's high expectations. Graphics are improving gradually in rfactor 2, which is nice to see. Only very gradually, but they still have quite a way to go yet, because with the new consoles coming out, we're going to be seeing those in 6 months' time, and we're bound to see mind-blowing graphics. Talking of mind-blowing, had to show you guys some full-screen replay. You know, I can watch replays like this all day. I like seeing it there, the body language of the car. Ignore the skip in the frame there, that was somehow due from processing. Basically, this was a 40 gig video. Each video is 40 gig. So you can imagine how big all of them were to record. And then I compress them into Windows files, and then I turn them into Adobe Premiere. And just occasionally you can get a little conflicting thing happen here or there. But either way, and at this point I believe the PC is running out of memory. So I did actually run out of hard drive space recording this one. But either way, it looks amazing, and I wanted to share some of this with you into the Tamburello chicane. I like that. I like the direction change. I struggled to get on the power on that final part. It's nice when you get that corner just right, though, sweet, because you're sliding all the way through it, and it's fantastic. Again, here you can really attack this, really get the car in nice and early. So much speed to be discovered in these chicanes. Through the Villeneuve chicane, fantastic. And again here around the hairpin, up the hill, and away we go. Really trying to keep focus as we turn up the hill. Close on these guys in front of me. I've been working my way up actually. There were I think 16 cars in this race down the hill, and now I'm closing on these guys and just trying to keep focus rather than driving too hard. I've been trying to ease my way through the field. This wasn't about winning, it was just about being sensible, but I believe I make a mistake somewhere here as well. Just get on the power a bit too early. Not yet, that's still to come. First closing on these guys. Down the hill into Ravazza, through those corners, trying to get on the power, and you can see they're squeezing to get on the power. I was trying to get on there nice and early so I got a good drive on these guys and got a little bit of wheel spin. Through on the inside. And I thought I'd change the camera again here for a little bit of onboard action, showing my point of view of proceedings. Around these corners on the power. You can see I took a little knock from behind there. The AI is still a little bit quick trying to attack, and of course it's knocked off a bit of the rear bodywork you can see in the top corner as well. So I'm only running visual damage on this particular test. At the moment I'm not interested in running actual damage, otherwise we'd be crashing off all the time, and to be fair, the AI isn't complete in the game yet, so there's not really much point in the short term. But I do look forward to playing online. Down the hill. Love the direction changes. Such a nice flowing course. I miss this course from Formula 1. There was a great battle here years ago between Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso. And I think Jenson Button was actually having a really good run that day as well. Long way ahead, but Michael's Ferrari was just so quick. But when he came up behind Fernando, he just couldn't get past, battling all the way to the finish. It was really great to see. Of course, for viewers in the UK, they'll remember that we actually missed the end of the race because they put an ad break on TV and missed the final few corners and the end of the race. So we came back and the race was finished. So down the start-finish straight, wonderful flowing high-speed straight, or section should I say. Flow, trying to gain on these guys ahead, doing my best. Using the Fanatic Formula Rim feels fantastic, I have to say. It really is an amazing feeling wheel. Once I get the firmware sorted out on it, I've been testing different firmware for a while now, trying to find something. There's different things work and don't work, and they're getting there with it, and I look forward to the final firmware. It really is a fantastic wheel. Though important that you put your gear changes the right way. I think I showed an early video. They were upside down and back to front when the wheel first arrived. So, but you can move them around that suit your style, and I have a style that works for me perfectly now. It feels nice and solid. It feels really natural, and really natural when driving these type of cars. And a mistake there again. Just got on the power, and of course with the pedals as they are, it's very difficult trying to push at these slower speeds. In fact, it's impossible. So you'll see sometimes that I actually take corners in a higher gear than you would expect, simply because I know that if I'm in third, I've got less chance of wheel spin. So I'm actually costing myself a bit of time, but at the end of the day, it's all about keeping it together and working my way to the finish. I've lost a lot of time there. Trying to close on these guys. See some wreckage on the circuit from the incident earlier. Through the Villeneuve chicane, closing, but you know, this is what motor racing is all about. It's about, you know, it's not always about just the racing. It's about racing yourself, maximising your own performance. Every lap you're learning a different braking point. You're trying a different technique. And even when you've got that, you know, the car is changing under you, so you're looking at all these things that can improve your performance and concentration. You're maintaining concentration for a long period of time. You know, when you're playing console games, it's 2, 3, 4 laps. When you're doing, you know, much longer races, it does require a lot more concentration. You get into a flow, and what you'll find is you'll have periods of the race when you're in a zone. You might complete 3 or 4 laps and not even think about it, and then suddenly you do think about it and you think, wow, I was really in the zone then. I want to get back in there. And so you have times that throw off your concentration. And so that's it for this video, but of course there'll be more from me very soon, as well as my little Christmas message as well. But that's it from me for now, viewers. As ever, more soon.